Thanks so much for joining me for this fresh, effortless, sophisticated, get ready with me inspired by a fragrance and using some new makeup. I did pick up this fragrance set. I was starting to do these looks inspired by fragrances. Today we're featuring 724 and it is a beautiful, beautiful fragrance. And I thought this look really paired nicely with it. We have some new products that I picked up and that were sent to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and just prep. I have the Rose de Mai Lip Balm, and then I also have this lip scrubber that I picked up recently in case I've got some exfoliating. We'll see where we are in a little bit, but I wanted to try this out. So this is new. It's the Merit Great Skin Priming Moisturizer. So according to Merit, it says that this is a lightweight cream that instantly blurs and preps skin for makeup while helping to provide time-release hydration for perfected skin all day. So we'll see how this does with powder foundation, which is what I'm going to use. Now I remember it saying something about not letting it completely dry down before foundation or SPF. But in this case, I'm using powder foundation, so I do want to let it set, or else I think that's not gonna go really well. Okay, so I do have a little, do you see that? There's a bit of interaction. Because I moisturized, oh gosh, I did skincare maybe 2 hours ago, so I wanted to make sure I moisturize. So something I have on, probably my moisturizer is interacting with this. So let me just, where's that brush? I love this Shiseido brush, you know, for foundation, but I also love it for removing a little bit of residue if that happens. Also, these brushes by Chanel, which I don't use for application, these are great for swiping away any residue. I also went in with the NuFace serum, so that could also be something it's interacting with. I'll have to see, but typically if I was going in right after I washed my face and toned, I would go in with this. So we'll have to see as this goes on. But I like the feeling so far. It does feel smooth to the touch, and it does have some hydration. The Camoflauge Stylo, let's just do the under eye concealing really fast. This is in 4C. And then I just like to apply it right here, ring finger, and I just blend. I've been trying out all of my fragrance kit. Well, actually not all of them, but I've been kind of concentrating on this first half just to really give them a good try. So we picked number 724 Eau de Parfum. This has floral and musky notes. And this is the type of fragrance that I've noted on other people and wondered what it was. It might not have been this particular fragrance, but there is something in here, like a really clean, fresh, if it was a color, it would be blue to me. That kind of a note in it. And it's very sophisticated as well. So we're doing like a simple, sophisticated look, but it also has a softness about it. So that's why I think it goes really well with something like a powder foundation, Chantecaille powder foundation. And I've been trying this, as you can see. I've tried it over concealer, and I haven't actually tried it without concealer. So I want to try this on one half of the face. This is in the shade Peach, which is a little bit light for me, but I'm more concerned about undertone usually than the exact depth of the color, because if the undertone is off, then everything is kind of off. I also applied this before I worked out this morning just to see. Yeah, you can see it's light there, but let's work this in. And it did really well in terms of staying intact. Now, I think dry skin and textured skin is not going to love this. It does have potential to bring out, let me just put some on here and you'll see, to bring out some texture, especially in the front where I have pores. Okay, so you can see right there, it does look really light for my skin tone. So if you are my tone, just know this is gonna be too light. But we wanna just focus on the finish here. So let's forget for now that this shade is very light for me, but look at the finish. I want to apply a little bit of the Camoflauge Stylo on this dark spot first. So you can see what it looks like on top of kind of a fluid kind of concealer. It did a good job though of covering things like broken capillaries, and that's not bad, the coverage there, but this is one of those foundations that is going to show more texture with the greater amount of makeup that's applied. And I would go with something lighter, like that looks really nice. I'd rather do this than put on powder foundation, but I wanted to try this. A thinner consistency of concealer I think works better for something like this, because I tried it with even just a little bit thicker concealer and it did not look great. It looked like a lot of makeup. it brought out some texture. So I'm gonna go lighter handed here so you can see what it's like. A couple different techniques here. I noticed this got a lot of stars. So I think though that you have to be a powder foundation fan for this to really work, which you would think I would be because I love their powder so much. In fact, sometimes I'll use the Perfect Blur Powder as a foundation of sorts. I'll do concealer and then go in with the Perfect Blur Powder. So I know this looks, again, very off, but let's just look at the texture piece. So you can see there, it does build up texture if you're not careful. I'd rather do something like this with a lightweight concealer and then a light layer versus adding more of the powder because it looks makeup-y. I also tried applying some rose water earlier, but it almost has almost a waterproof quality to it. It didn't really sink in, which is also good if you're looking for something like that. But right now, this looks really off. So let's take this. I'm gonna take my Chanel Light Coral palette, and then let's take this brush, this Ray Morris brush. So I like how it fits in there really nicely. This Ultimate Cheekbone old version of it. Still have to pick up the newer version. And then let's bronze the exterior and the forehead, and we're gonna fix things here. So this is also just a little way that I can adjust makeup if there's something wrong with it. Like even if I get a tan sometimes, I'm just gonna run that above my eye here because we're not gonna really do much with the eye today except for eyeliner. Okay, so that's helping already. I mean, one thing that's nice about powder foundation, it plays really well with other powder products. It's not moving any of the makeup around. It's pretty much staying put. I'm gonna take it across my chin here. I'm gonna take some of this across even the front here, just like this. I'm gonna go in with just this brow product, the Victoria Beckham, and I'm gonna fill in with just this little bit here in case you want something really like light and natural looking and not anything solid filling in the brows. So I'm gonna draw in every little, this is the baby blade and this is in dark brown. I also went in with the Jones Road Beauty gel in clear. So we're gonna go in with a little bit of this Jones Road. I used this in the vlog if you didn't see that, but it's this very small pot of which I think is more than enough eyeshadow, and it's like a creamy, almost pliable texture here. And I'm just gonna add that to the lid, just like this. It just is gonna add a little bit of glow. There is a bit of like a moisture aspect to this. There is also a little bit of intermittent shimmer, and it's a bit sheer. It's not super opaque the way I applied it. You can see already it just kind of brightens that eye area, and I've been enjoying doing that lately. Usually I'll use Trench, but I've been using this one by Laura Mercier in Moonlight, and it's a bit cooler, like a taupier, cool, reflective kind of shade. But it's been nice canceling out that redness and then also adding a little bit of just a little bit of glow to the bottom. Okay, we're gonna take this by Chanel eyeshadow liner Kohl in Dahlia, and you can do a lot of things with this. You can add it close to the lash line. You can make it into an eyeshadow stick of sorts. So we're gonna add this close to the lash line first. I love that it's not super intense, but it adds that job of adding a little bit of glow and a little hint of color, and it's a beautiful shade. I know it's neon, but there's nothing really neon about this. And any shade like this always reminds me of the time that Janine Lobel, way back when Stylo was just starting, had a little setup at the Nordstrom. She went around to each makeup artist working with each client to tell them what products to use on us. And she selected a beautiful purple toned eyeliner to use on my eyes, which is something I'd never used before. And since then, anytime I use something that's this type of shade, it reminds me of that moment and realizing how nicely color can work on brown eyes. So I have a little nostalgia behind a shade like this. And then we can even add a little bit down below, just along the lash line. Really, really subtle. And then we're gonna bring it up a little bit further and just blend it in. So we'll do kind of like a mesh between this color and that goldy color that I applied first. And then I'm gonna add a little bit of Faux Longest Lash. Okay, so some Faux Longest Lash mascara, and then I cleaned up the exterior with Clé de Peau concealer as usual, and then went under here a little bit more with the Camoflauge Stylo, just to kind of brighten that just a little bit more. And now let's go in with some blush. I really like a simple eye like this. We're gonna go in with this Sweed blush in Suntouched, and it has a bit of a warm tone. You can see I've used it here. I did try this on in the vlog, but I don't know how visible it was, so I thought we'd try it here as well. Air Blush Cream, a blush creme. So it does have a creaminess to it, which I think will work nicely with this powder on me because I need it to have a little bit more skin-like quality to it, a second skin-like quality. I think this will help. And yeah, this foundation is staying in place, which, as you know, when I use concealers and all kinds of things under anything that's a little bit more emollient with blush, like cream blushes can be tricky. So this might be a nice solution if you like cream blushes, but need to maintain the integrity and structure of the foundation. Yeah, it's got that soft appearance to it. It's really pretty. Let's take this exfoliating brush that I got from the brush on block, and then let's exfoliate quickly. Okay, I'm gonna go in with this lip gloss. This is actually called a lip treatment oil, and it's in the shade Bliss, and this is by Ami Collet. This is a new to me brand, but I've been enjoying this because it's really easy to wear. It has a little bit of like a milky tone to it, but it's still translucent. I have pigment to my lips anyway, so what it does is it mutes it down a little bit. Going in with a bit of the Jones Road Beauty. This is a shimmer face oil. This works really well on very, very natural looking finish on the foundation. So this is gonna be a little bit of a contrast to what we have, but let's use this Hourglass brush. A little bit on my hand here, and it's in like a goldy color. You can see right there. And this shade is called Midas. And then I'm gonna go down the bridge of my nose, just really subtly. And it's dried down a little bit by the time I'm doing this. And then Cupid's bow. So from my fragrance set here, I really am loving the ability to use these because I don't wear a lot of fragrance. I really love the idea of fragrance. There are so many fragrances I don't like, which is why I don't feature them a lot. But when I love a fragrance, I really enjoy wearing it. And this is a really beautiful one. So it's 724, and I looked up the description, the inspiration behind it. And when I read it, you will see why I love this. So its top notes are fresh urban accord, a sensation of clean, energizing freshness. And that's what I noticed first, is that it has a really fresh note to it. And I think this makeup is quite fresh. Fresh in almost like a laundry freshness kind of scent. Really like that without smelling like laundry. It has bergamot, which is one of my very favorite notes in any fragrance. Slightly metallic, it says. Structured by Grandiflorum, Jasmine, Absolute, and Jasmine is also one of my favorites. Sometimes that can be a little bit too sweet, a little bit too intense, but it's very subtle here. And then it's Sweet Pea, which I think has a more watery kind of scent to it. Again, lending itself to that clean, fresh scent. Base notes are sandalwood and white musk accord. So there is nothing in here that is something I don't like. Sometimes there are notes where it's like, oh, I don't know if I'm gonna like it. An example of that is patchouli, and I know that can lend a base, really nice base to a fragrance, but sometimes it's too strong. This doesn't have any potential notes in there that I would not like, so I really like all of the notes in there. So I perceive this as fresh, soft, and sophisticated at the same time. The Baccarat Rouge is very sophisticated, very serious kind of fragrance. This is quite a soft, fresh alternative to that. So I am really enjoying this one right now, and I think that this embodies my perception of this fragrance. So let's just spray some on. So this one starts out more citrusy. That metallic really is apparent when I first spray this on. And then I get hints of that freshness, that almost laundry kind of scent, which I really like. And then the musk kind of softens everything up. And there definitely is not a sweetness about this, which I try to avoid in fragrance. So I'm really, really enjoying this one. This is a top contender of one that I would purchase as a full bottle. Quick rundown of everything I tried. This was nice, but I need to try this without other products underneath because it definitely interacted with something, creating a bit of a residue. So I need to eliminate some things along the way to see what it works well with, but I did like the texture. I felt like it did a nice smoothing, blurring effect. Then onto the foundation, which is that powder. If you like that soft appearance, if you're looking for something that's not going to break up easily, and over time it wore really well. I really did enjoy the Chanel eyeliner that I put on. There's a cool reflective property to it. Finally, this fragrance, number 724. Beautiful. If you're looking for something sophisticated, soft, effortless, and also fresh, then this is a really, really pretty one. Let me know if you enjoy this fragrance inspired look using new makeup, and let me know what new makeup you've been loving. I feel like there's a little bit of a lull in the market right now in terms of new makeup. I'm still waiting for the Chanel blushes to come on board here so I can try those out. But let me know what is coming up that you're excited about. I'd love to know. But that is it for today's video. So please take care of each other. Stay well if you enjoyed this video. If you learned something, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you next time.